All right, well, we are back. Welcome to another episode of Beyond ERP. Today, we're honored to introduce Donna Hamilton, a dedicated director of finance and operations, specializing in combating human trafficking. Donna has spent years advocating for social justice and making a difference in the lives of those impacted by this heinous crime. With a strong background in finance and operations, Donna plays a vital role in ensuring that organizations fighting human trafficking have the necessary resources and strategies to bring an end to this grave issue. I'm Louis Balla, partner at Nuage, joined with my co-host Gina Ostrowski. Without further ado, let's delve into the impactful journey of Donna Hamilton. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
Hi, Donna. Yeah, we're honored that you're here and you joined us, and let's get started. Just wanted to talk to you about maybe your path in combating human trafficking. It's very commendable. Could you maybe provide a little bit of, with our audience, an overview of
Sure.
your professional journey and maybe your mission into this field?
Absolutely. Yes. Well, it's an honor to be here and an honor to work for HTI, Human Trafficking Institute. So I have been in the nonprofit field my entire career. Spent 25 years with the American Red Cross. So I'm very passionate about the mission in which I work. And coming to the Human Trafficking Institute was seamless and a wonderful opportunity. We work with prosecution and police in 4 countries. We are in the United States, obviously, but we are primarily holding our model in Uganda, Africa, South Africa, and Belize. And what our model is that we put an embed into the criminal justice system in the countries to work hand in hand on the cases and review their law, do trainings with police and prosecution. And it's very impactful. We've seen a tremendous success with our oldest program, which is in Uganda. And so it was very easy for me to make the move to become the director of finance and operations for HTI.
That's fantastic. And I know last time we spoke at a conference, you had mentioned you were over there and got to spend some time. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey and kind of boots on the ground and what it means to folks in Uganda and the rest for
Yes.
HTI's service and work?
Yes, for sure. It is very eye-opening. Uganda was the first country that I was able to visit. I have been in all of our countries now that we are having our programs with him, but have spent a lot of time in Uganda. The people are amazing. The support that we have within the local government in Uganda to decimate trafficking, it's very much on the forefront of their minds. We just recently actually multiplied our staff there. So we have a team of 27 individuals in Uganda, mostly Ugandan citizens, actually now working under HTI to decimate trafficking. And it's changing. It's life-changing to go to a country to see the work that is so important happening firsthand, to meet the people that are helping make this change and very passionate about making the change. Just meeting the local individuals within the country, it's a great experience, and it's just been such a journey in the past 2 years to see where it was 2 years ago when I actually started with HTI to where we are today. It's incredible growth, not only on the side of obviously the finance side, but also on the operations side, on the program side, but at the same time, seeing the number of cases and seeing the trafficker stopped, because we're not going to stop trafficking without stopping the trafficker.
And Donna, in that vein, I think, admittedly, I'm guilty of not knowing too much. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people just turn a blind eye of just understanding the scale of human trafficking worldwide. I know that you all, pardon me, do a lot of research stateside as well.
Yeah.
Can you share a ballpark of just how crazy things are out there?
Well, so on our domestic side, we develop and produce the Human Trafficking Report through what's called our thought leadership team here at HTI. So if you actually go onto our website, traffickinginstitute.org, and you look at the Human Trafficking Report, you can pick any city, any state that is listed in that report and drill down to the numbers by state here in the U.S. And as far as the countries go, there is a trafficking in person, they call it a TIP, TIP, tier that is put out by the State Department every year. So that tier for each country, every country has one, is how they are doing on their enforcing trafficking laws and just human trafficking in general. We monitor those. We work with this very closely with the State Department. We've received funding to assist in Uganda and South Africa, just for that very reason that they are on the tier 2, which South Africa is on the tier 2 watch list, and you don't want to go to tier 3 because then the U.S. could potentially sanction you. So it's very important for the countries, and but it only works if we have that partnership, right? Which we do in the 3 countries that we're in, which is wonderful.
And Donna, in the vein of the work that you're doing, maybe over the last we'll say the last year or two, what is exciting you and kind of future work that is exciting you as you all continue to develop your programs?
Yes, honestly, I'll go back to what I said. It's just seeing the momentum. We've been in Uganda for a few years now. We just the momentum that's been happening. I'm very excited about it. I don't know how else to describe it, but we've had a tremendous increase in the number of cases filed, the number of arrests made, traffickers put away. If the trafficking laws are not enforced, traffickers will just continue. And it's not just sex trafficking, it's forced labor, it's forced marriage. It could be all various different forms of trafficking. So the very first thing that we need to do is understand the laws for that country that we're going into, and then help the police and prosecution also understand the laws and the best approach to get those traffickers off the street, so to speak. Because if we stop the trafficker, then we have, saved victims, and we have survivors from trafficking, which is the ultimate goal.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
And it's neat. I've been partnering a little bit with some more local human trafficking. So it's so nice, interesting to talk. You're much bigger scale. It sounds like you're impacting a lot. You're definitely making a difference. And as Director of Finance and Operations, what are maybe some key financial, and I'm doing a shift here, key financial and operational challenges in your organization that you might face to fight against human trafficking, and how you address them potentially?
Well, as you know, we implemented NetSuite soon after I arrived in this position at HTI. We had it was very, very high on not only the board but our CEO's agenda to implement a software that we could use and scale with, because that is what's happening. And so I had familiarity with NetSuite, so we went with NetSuite, which, at least in my opinion, is the Cadillac of some financial systems. And the main reason, honestly, that I was very much influenced with making this switch was we can hold our CRM in there. You can put so many things under one umbrella, right? With that. So the challenges that we had coming in were that we had multiple different systems that wouldn't talk to each other. So in us switching to NetSuite, we were able to do that. We also have bank accounts, as you can imagine, in these countries because we have staff there. So for us to be able to do that, pull that information in, it does conversions for us from the local currency to the US dollar, which is where obviously our financials are run off of. It's just been very, very, it's a time saver, but it was a successful implementation. It was definitely needed. And so I think that was the biggest challenge at first. The second challenge was getting used to the different currency in every location, and the conversion for all of that was unique for us to get used to. But like I said, it's been very good since we were able to change our financial software package and some other key systems for us to make this happen.
And we hear that a lot, that people that switch to NetSuite, they have so many different systems and this is unified. So it's nice that you acknowledge that, and it's working, it saves time, efficiencies, all that, and especially as you're scaling and growing.
Yes, and for nonprofits in particular, obviously, the grant side of it is very nice. Grant reporting in itself can be very challenging, and so we've just been able to streamline a lot of that, which has been a very much a time saver when it comes to the quarterly reports, especially when you're doing 3 of them.
Yeah, I hear that. And kind of, going back to just the general audience listening, what are some ways outside of, reaching out to you all and exploring the website where, individuals can get involved? What would you kind of attribute to, like, hey, I live, I live in Florida like Gina, or in California. What, beyond cutting the snake's head off, if you will, source, why is this important to me as, somebody stateside? And I think probably helping understand that would be really important for the audience.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unfortunately, trafficking is everywhere, right? It's not just in countries that we're talking about, like Uganda or anywhere in Africa for that matter, and Belize and in other countries, right? It's also happening within our own borders. And so just having the understanding of what it is and understanding the laws behind what is trafficking and what's not, that's very impactful. It can get you to the next level of understanding what we're dealing with, even just, within our own country. There's a lot of misconceptions that a lot of people, when they think of trafficking, they automatically think of cross country or cross border, like we're taking somebody from one country to another, and that's trafficking. That's not that's not entirely. That is obviously trafficking, but that's not the highest. Usually with domestic. So, for example, in Uganda, it's not people from Uganda being sent somewhere else to do trafficking or to be trafficked. It's happening domestically within their own country. There is international cases, and usually, obviously, the media picks up on a lot of that more than they do the domestic piece. So, it's I live in I would say any resort area. I live in one. I hear about it all the time on the news here. In Myrtle Beach, or in Florida, or in Boston. It doesn't necessarily happen. It's everywhere, unfortunately. And so again, the key really is for us to enforce the laws. If the laws are not enforced, the trafficker is going to get a slap on their hand. They're just going to go back and do it again. So it's enforcing the law, and it's putting them behind bars so that the next person who's thinking about doing it is like, I don't know if I want to spend, my life in prison for this. Perhaps, it's helping deter future traffickers as well. So really, I would honestly say if people want to get involved, one, it's to understand what's happening in your state. Look at our human trafficking report and see if there's information for your state within there, if there's actual cases that are being filed. Understand what's happening within the law. There are volunteer victims that potentially, people could work with or volunteer at. And then for all of the nonprofits, including HTI, we are not solely funded by the government. We are funded by donations as well. So anyone who's passionate about that and would like to donate, we encourage that as well.
Thank you, Donna. And outside of kind of going to the website, any other means for collaboration that you'd like to point to on today's podcast where individuals can get involved, and maybe there's
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of organizations out there, obviously, fighting this. It's a silent, so to speak, crime in my eyes. Anyway, it's not something that you hear about on the news constantly, but unless there's a large case or something, but it is happening. So I would definitely, like I said, look at our trafficking report. Look at you can certainly do a Google search in your area for human trafficking related programs or pieces that you'd like to get involved with. But it's definitely out there, and it's definitely something that, regardless of which nonprofit it is that's trying to, we're all going in the same direction. So
Yeah. And I think that the awareness is happening more and more. Definitely. So
yeah.
That's going to help. But Donna, did want to ask you, are there any books or resources or maybe individual mentors of some sort in your past throughout your career that has significantly influenced you in some way?
There's so many. I mean, in my whole career, I've been at three nonprofits, and it's a different world. If you have not worked in one before, it's a different area to be spending your whole career in. I can't imagine anything but I will tell you, if it's related to trafficking, actually, our CEO actually wrote a book with someone else called The Locust Effect. And that's actually what started him to step away from his career at the State Department and start HTI. So it's very much an interesting book to get you acclimated to the human trafficking side and relation to poverty and whatnot. But that is definitely one. And it's just amazing to watch the people that are involved. We are a very small nonprofit. So we have 27 staff in Uganda, but the rest of the staff here are just shy of 25. And so it's not a very large nonprofit. So everyone here, it's just amazing to watch as we have our updates and we go through our numbers. And it takes a special person to work in some of these fields. It's not an easy subject to have to tackle every day. And I am always at awe of watching how the team is doing it. I'm in operations. I'm not out there saving the world. The project teams and the program teams are saving the world. And I just get the benefit of being able to visit the countries and see the great work that they're doing.
That's fantastic. Donna, we certainly appreciate you joining us today. A heartfelt thank you. That concludes an episode of Beyond ERP. Thank you for your invaluable insights in the fight against human trafficking. And we'll provide the links below, not only to the book, but also the report and the website. For our listeners, if you're passionate about making a difference in the fight against human trafficking, please reach out to Donna. We'll include ways to get in touch with her via her website. Thank you for tuning in. We look forward to having you joining us on the next episode of Beyond ERP, where we continue exploring the experiences and insights of inspiring business leaders. We want to give you the last word. Anything, Donna, you'd like to share with the audience? Anything you guys are working on, or anything you forgot to mention during today's podcast?
No, just thank you. And thank you for the support. Thank you for having me today. You guys have been wonderful partners of ours as well. And so I very much appreciate it. And yes, together we can stop trafficking.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Donna. We appreciate your time. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks.